In the first half of 2025, China's economy grew 5.3%. That's like the entire GDP of Switzerland being created in just 3 months. And while everyone's been predicting doom and gloom, something fascinating is happening in the world's second-largest economy.
Wow, those numbers are pretty remarkable when you consider most developed economies are struggling to hit even 2% growth. What's driving this surge?
Well, the electric vehicle sector is absolutely transforming their economy. Chinese manufacturers exported more EVs than Japan and Germany combined last year. BYD alone shipped over 240,000 vehicles overseas in just the fourth quarter.
That's quite a shift from when they were mainly focused on their domestic market. How are traditional auto manufacturers responding?
That's what makes this so interesting. European and American automakers are actually having to completely rethink their strategies. Tesla's market share in China dropped by nearly 8% last year while domestic brands gained ground.
Speaking of market shifts, I've been noticing a huge change in the quality of Chinese tech products. The days of cheap knockoffs seem to be fading.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. The manufacturing sector has made this incredible leap into advanced technology. We're talking about companies producing cutting-edge semiconductors, quantum computers, and AI chips that are competing directly with industry leaders.
So what does this mean for cities beyond Beijing and Shanghai? Are we seeing this growth spread across the country?
Well, that's one of the most surprising aspects. Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities are showing remarkable consumption growth. Places like Chengdu and Hangzhou are becoming major economic hubs. Consumer spending in these cities increased by over 7% year over year.
I've been wondering about the sustainability of all this growth. Haven't we seen boom-bust cycles before?
That's where the green energy investment comes in. And we're talking massive numbers here. China invested more than $546 billion in renewable energy last year alone. That's more than the US and EU combined.
But what about the employment situation, especially for young graduates?
So the tourism sector is helping absorb some of that workforce. International arrivals are up 230% from last year. Plus, the tech sector created about 1.2 million new jobs in emerging industries like artificial intelligence and cloud computing.
Those numbers are impressive, but how is this affecting global supply chains?
Well, here's something fascinating. Chinese companies are actually moving up the value chain. They're no longer just assembling products. They're designing and innovating. They now hold about 35% of global 5G patents.
That's quite a transformation from their traditional manufacturing role. How are international markets responding?
You know what's interesting? Despite all the talk about decoupling, trade between China and its major partners actually increased. The EU-China trade hit a record $847 billion last year, and ASEAN-China trade grew by 8.2%.
Sounds like the economic relationship is more complex than headlines suggest.
Exactly. And here's another surprising stat. Chinese companies filed more international patents last year than U.S. companies for the 4th year running. We're talking about serious innovation, not just incremental improvements.
That's fascinating. How is this affecting domestic consumption patterns?
Well, luxury brands are actually shifting their focus to Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities now, like Gucci opened more stores in these markets last year than in Beijing and Shanghai combined. And domestic brands are gaining serious market share. They now control about 75% of the smartphone market.
Well, that certainly paints a different picture than what we usually hear about the Chinese economy.
And get this, their digital economy now accounts for 40% of GDP. Mobile payments in China reached $434 trillion last year. That's about 4 times the size of their actual GDP.
Those are mind-boggling numbers. What should we be watching for next?
The key indicators to watch are really in 3 areas. First, their semiconductor industry. They're investing $150 billion to become self-sufficient. Second, their green tech exports. They already control 80% of solar panel production. And third, their digital currency rollout, which could really shake up global finance.
So it sounds like we're looking at a fundamental shift in the global economic order.
Exactly. And while everyone's focused on the headline 5.3% growth number, the real story is in how China's economy is transforming qualitatively. They're not just growing, they're growing differently.
That's quite a perspective shift from the usual narrative.
You know what really drives this home? Chinese companies now make up 24% of the Fortune Global 500. That's up from just 3% in 2000. It's not just about the speed of growth anymore. It's about the nature of that growth.